So to illustrate, the first deliberative poll we ever did, which was in Britain in 1994 on the issue of crime, which I did with the channel, with the television network Channel 4. They're the ones I was first able to persuade to do this. The British had a national sample of 900 people. And of course, and they got 300 on the day. And you will see an article that we wrote about that called Considered Opinions. In fact, Ray, I think, would you get a list of the links and we'll send around an email. We have all the articles on our website, but we should give them the Considered Opinions article and the China article, and so that you can just read it for yourself. But both articles were in the British Journal of Political Science. So this article, this project, so we could compare the 600 with the 300 in their attitudes and their demographics. There were virtually no differences because they had the whole opinion questionnaire, and so we really, the 300 were just as representative as the 900, and we did a really good, initial survey, a high response rate. It was well done with our British partners. So that was just represented public opinion as it is. But then the 300 participated in a national 3-day deliberative poll. And those 300 changed their views. And of course, we studied only the 300 for the opinion changes. And those are the deliberative poll results. By the way, let me mention two things about that. Two things about that project which were quite interesting. So that was the first time we'd ever done this, we didn't know if we could get a national sample together and how representative it would be. We didn't know if the opinions would change. And there were two little clues. One was, this was, remember, on the issue of crime. And I didn't think about it, but if you do a good national sample on the issue of crime, you'll have criminals in the sample. So one of the participants, and this is a tribute to the fact that the moderators created a civil discussion environment in a small group. So I was watching a small group where one of the participants mentioned that he was a car thief. And he said he used to be a car thief. But the way he said used to be, he spoke about it with such vividness, you really thought, and so the point is, he contributed to the discussion, and things that he said were very compatible with the expert criminologists and sociologists in the panel, but he just added to the discussion, and it was and in any deliberative poll, you'll have a lot of expertise in a random sample. Well, we did a big project in Britain also on the 50th anniversary of the National Health System. We had a microcosm of the nation's diseases in the room and vulnerabilities, and patients. It was a very representative sample. They weren't more sick or not than anybody else, but they have a lot to contribute to the discussion. And we often have public policy issues that are issues that relate to people's lives. The second thing that clue from that weekend was that a woman came up to me, and we would do anything reasonable to attract them, So we allowed people to come to bring their spouse if they wanted. So this woman came, and she wasn't part of the sample, but she could come and observe and do other things. And so she said that she was a spouse accompanying her husband. And she said to me something that I'll never forget. She said she wanted to thank me. I said, why? She said that in 30 years of marriage, her husband had never read a newspaper. But from the moment he was invited to come to this, he'd started to read, she said, every newspaper every day, and he was going to be much more interesting to live with in retirement. And so I figured, so to me, that captured the fact that we created incentives for him to become a more engaged and informed citizen.